Alrighty, it is time for a bit of a check-in / announcement / update video and a bit of a Friday chat. Hey everyone, it is Shannon. I'm super excited to be here today and to share with you this video. I have taken a bit of a break, unexpectedly again, from doing videos, but that's given me some time to think, and I'm going to shift things a little bit on the channel. In all honesty, they're not going to be too much different, but I thought because I've made some decisions on how I'm going to structure things, fair play to share it. So I'm going to be sharing that schedule and focus. I also will be sharing some thoughts on what I've recently been reading and watching and maybe playing a little bit in terms of gaming with playing World of Warcraft. See how that goes. I will do chapter breaks if you want to jump around, if you just want the announcement, if you just want the reading, if you just want the watching. I will leave chapter breaks so you can find all of the things. I also am going to share my next 3 categories of film that I am going to be focusing on for quarter 2. Yeah, because I made the decision to do that. It's going to be for April, May, and June, so I'm already into those titles. And I'm excited about the next 3 that I've chosen. So first up, the types of videos I'm going to be doing. My plan for going forward is I am going to aim for 2 videos a week. I'm going to do a Friday video, which will be this style of video, not the announcement part, but it's more of going to be like a general sort of like update on what I have been reading and what I have been watching, and if I have anything to share in terms of gaming or art or knitting or journaling, but just sort of like a little bit of everything, or a little bit of some things, because in all honesty, I am not doing a lot of reading. And we're into April now, and my reading has not only not stayed consistent with how much I read in January, which is often my least read month, it's actually very much dipped down. So I am not reading enough to warrant a Friday Reads video. So I'm going to switch and have my Friday videos be an update on what I've been reading and watching and doing and thinking about, so that there still is a consistent weekly video that's more of a like catch up, sit down, like as if we're hanging out over coffee or a pint, you know, or over the, like at the library or whatever, you know what I mean? Like it's just like just chatting, you know, on the things that are on the mind and recently done, seen, heard, thought about. And so I thought it would be fun to do in a more general sense of things. So that's going to be one video I'll do, and that's my plan, is to have that be a Friday video. And then I'm going to do a second video that'll be a film related video, because one of the things that I am doing this year is I'm really trying to be way more consistent on watching movies, and I have been giving myself challenges. Like for the first quarter of the year, my goal was I challenged myself to watch 10 each of new to me monster movies, dance movies, and newly added world cinema to Canopy, which is a streaming service. And so that's been really exciting. And I was updating those videos. I was doing a weekly week in film type of video to talk about whatever I'd seen from those categories, and usually it was one of each. And although I enjoy that style of video, I don't know how much other people enjoy it just sort of being 3 random films like all the time. And then like I think it might be better to group them together by the categories. So like 3 monster movies, 3 dance movies, and 3 newly added world cinema to Canopy. I pick categories that just roll off the tongue. And so I think that's what I'm going to do moving forward. I will do a video to catch up on the films that I've seen from each of those categories, and then I do want to do a bit of a reflection on each of those categories and how the first quarter went overall. And then I think going forward, once I'm caught up with all of that, I'll do videos about the new categories that I've chosen, and those new categories are science fiction films, trilogies. So those are a combination of rewatching what I've seen and then watching anything I haven't seen. And I think they're all complete series. So we'll see how that goes. I initially had some reservations about having some rewatches in there, and it has presented some challenges, not necessarily the rewatches, but I think finishing some film series would feel really good. So science fiction, trilogies, and then my third category is, I'm calling it fight the FOMO, and it is going to be watching films that have newly become available or recent releases or anything that catches my eye, and I want to watch it now. So instead of waiting till later, and maybe later will never happen, but you know, if I'm like, ooh, I see that something new came on Netflix, or something I was waiting for that was one of my anticipated releases from last year is now available on for rental, or for on one of the services I have access to, or my goodness, going out to the theater, oh my, you know, like anything that I'm excited about now, because I definitely noticed in the first quarter I was so focused on the categories I picked that I didn't get an opportunity to watch new things that came available. So yeah, so those are my 3 categories for the second quarter, which will be April, May, and June. So yeah, and then I think especially with the trilogies, it kind of makes a little bit more sense to do a video about a whole trilogy than, you know, the second, you know, like one, each of those films within a week in film thing. So I do plan on having a weekly film video. It will be more centered on each of the individual categories. So that'll be like a genre or a focus of some kind, and then wrap-ups and reflections around that. So that's my plan for the film related videos. I would like to do some vlogs at some point, but I'm not committing to that. But it's always on my radar to do a vlogs, like in terms of like a lot of little clips or going through a project or setting a challenge. I love doing them, but there are a lot of editing and a lot of work, and I do have like 90% of one filmed, but I just have to do the sort of outro, and I don't know, but I do have editing software that I can use now, so that helps. Anyway, so that is the plan going forward. So 2 films a week, or 2 videos a week, 1 Friday catch up, and 1 about film. I'm not sure. I usually put my film video out on Saturday, but I wonder if Monday might be better, or just like it might be better not to have them like 2 days in a row. I haven't decided 100% on that, but I do plan on wrapping up or talking about the last set of monster movies, dance movies, and the newly added World Cinema to Canopy, each in their individual videos. I think also, even just for me, it makes it easier to find what video I talked about what film. Because if it's just my week in film 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, like, I love stuff like that, but I don't know how, like, even if it's a channel that I watch and someone names their videos like that, I don't even always know if I've seen it or not, unless I look on YouTube and I can see if I have the bar fill or not. You know what I mean? Like on terms of the watching. But if it has titles in it, or if it's about a focus or a genre, I think that's a bit more it's a bit more recognizable in terms of like, have I seen that one yet? So anyway, that's my plan going forward. And I will admit, I think the algorithm likes things better when they're grouped with like items. So, but I think also just for me, it'd just be easier to find, when did I talk about, you know, the Gorgon? You know, am I going to remember if that's week 5 or week 10, or, you know, like I don't know. So we're going to try it out. Okay, so that's the plan going forward. 1 Friday catch up, 1 film related video. I'm going to do that for the next little while and see how it feels. I have a lot of film related videos to catch up on, so they might end up being more than 1 a week, but for now I'm going to do 1 a week and see how it goes. So now let's get to the chatty catch up for this week. And so what have I been reading? So what I have been reading has been mostly Hollowpox. This is The Hunt for Morrigan Crow by Jessica Townsend. It is the 3rd book in the Morrigan Crow series. No, it's the Nevermoor series, which is not on here anyway, which is why I always forget it. And this particular cover, I always feel like it's number 1 because this looks like a 1, but I think it's a doorway. It's a window. And there's part of a window over here. But because it's at the top, I always think it's 1. Oh, there it says, the Nevermoor series. Yeah, so this is a kids fantasy series that's set in and around a sort of, it feels like it's a school, but it's actually more like a secret society of where kids with, they have to sort of like, not interview, audition is not the right, they have to pass a series of tests to get into the secret society. It is the 3rd book in the series, so I can't really say anything about it. I am a bit behind. I'm 100 pages in. This one is long. It is over 500 pages. and the line spacing is much tighter and the margins are much smaller, so it is a lot longer than the other ones, not just in pages, but in other things. So I think I've been reading this about a week. I am behind my own schedule, but the live show is going to be on Izzy's channel, and I believe I will put it in the description box below in case that you are reading or have read or want some inspiration to read this book. I'm reading it with Izzy and Kay Kelly. We read the first 2 books earlier this year, and this one is the one that we're reading now. And there is another book in this series, but I don't think it's coming out later this year, was the last time I checked was the schedule. So, but I think we're talking in early May. I will put the date down below. So I'm behind my own schedule, but I'm pretty confident. I mean, I will finish it in time. I'm not. I have committed to it, so I will do it. But it's a slow going for me, a little bit, and I think that the fact that it's both longer and denser. It's taken me a little more time to get into it. I was actually very surprised today that it was 100 pages, and I'm like, I'm still trying to figure out what the through line is in terms of the story, but I think it's soon. I think there's 2 sort of different things I can see as potential. So that is what I am reading and have mostly been reading for the past little while. In terms of what I found it, but I could only find it with, I think it was the French title. I don't know why. I couldn't find, it has a lot of different covers, and that was the one that was closest. Yeah, that was the one that was closest. It was the French one. Who knew? Anyway, I've also, in terms of TV watching, I thought I might add some TV watching to the mix here. One of the things that I've been watching recently that I've really been enjoying is Jeopardy! Oh my gosh, I've tried. It's been so much, I don't have to explain what Jeopardy is, right? It's a game show where you're given answers and then you have to guess the question, I guess is the question. You're given a clue and I don't have to explain it. You're given a clue and then you form the answer in the form that you say the answer in the form of a question. It's like, what is Canada? What is, I can't think of anything else. What is, I don't know. The Peace Corps, so anyway, I've been watching Jeopardy. One of the things, and the Tournament of Champions wrapped up recently, and I now know I've been watching it enough that I actually start to recognize some of the people that come back for Tournament of Champions, or some of the in-jokes and stuff like that. I'm like, oh my, I'm getting to be like a bit of a Jeopardy fan here, and I always love it because I always am looking for, one, I love information. I mean, love information. And I love seeing there's such a nice camaraderie, or especially around the sort of Tournament of Champions, which are returning players. So between the contestants, which is quite nice. And I also just love the information. I love seeing which categories I, glom onto, which categories I feel very confident about, which categories I feel like there's no, I barely listen to the question, stuff like chemistry. I'm I'm never gonna get. I think I might get the 200 point one, which the 200 ones are the easiest ones. But generally speaking, I'm not gonna get those. But you might learn something from all of them, and not everyone answers it correctly, even on Jeopardy. Although the Tournament of Champions, they often it's pretty impressive. So I've been really enjoying watching it. I also have really enjoyed the fact that I can watch something that if I can watch it, I can watch it. And if I can't, whatever, I'll get to it the next day that I'm available at that time to watch it. And that's actually been really nice for me because I've been I have the shows that I watch I watch a fair amount of live TV and also streaming, but it's nice to have something that I don't have to watch it all the time. There's no, with the tournaments, there is consistency, but it's nice to have something that's a bit low pressure. And they have some really funny categories, and I'll give you one of the clues that they gave. And I'm and I think there's one thing my sister Jamie said at some point, which was that trivia is easy if you know it. And I'm that is so true. But I do think about there's trivia and knowledge, and there's stuff that's memorization, and then there's stuff that's more, and some of the categories are really odd that you have to think about it. It's not just countries of the world, this one, which is ends in a body part. So that was the category. Ends in a body part. And I think it was all people. And so they showed this one, and this was the final question, I think, and nobody got it. Ends in a body part. I mean, it's Gordon Lightfoot. Like, I know he's Canadian, but I mean, I probably might have known the answer before they even showed the picture, but it wasn't that picture of him. It was one of the album cover pictures. I'm like, oh, it's Gordon Lightfoot. And also, it's like ends in a body part, like foot, Lightfoot. Anyway, so that was really funny. I have been enjoying Jeopardy. Do you watch Jeopardy? I kind of wish that it was available. Like I watch it live, and just saying that it's been nice to watch it very casually has been great, but it's not available on any streaming service. Maybe older ones are. I don't know. I don't know how that would be to watch older versions of Jeopardy, or like, I don't know. Anyway, so that's what I've been watching, and then I did watch one movie that didn't fit into like any of my categories, so I thought this is a good place to sort of share a little bit about it. And I did recently watch the Holdovers. This was a big one in terms of the awards season, and it did win a lot of awards. The Divine Joy Randolph won a lot of awards for Best Supporting Actress, and I believe won the Oscar. This is it feels too recent to call it historical, and I'm actually not 100% sure when it was set. I think it was late 60s, but it might have been early 70s. For me, it felt as late as 80s, just from the size of the cars. Anyway, but it is set in a private school, I think a private high school, and it's about the people who end up staying over the winter break. So they either are staff and have to stay, or they are students and don't have anywhere to go, so the staff has to take care of them. It is a drama, and it is often quite surly, like pretty biting in terms of not like comedy, but like there's a lot of like meanness, but that happens throughout it, which is something it's not always something that I like to watch, but given the awards and stuff like that, I watched it with my sister and her husband. We watched it for Easter. It was our holiday movie, and it was it's set at Christmas, or like over the winter break. But where was I going with that? Anyway, so I'm not always a big fan of watching stuff where people are mean or cutting and that kind of stuff. And there is this, I think it's mostly the sort of school environment, the private school, like lots of tension between the students and stuff like that. But I really thought that it was a really great character story, character study type of thing, personal journey, that kind of drama, about people and relationships and challenges, and, when you have to face things, or what happens if you don't face things, like those kinds of stories. And I thought it was really good. So I'm really glad that I watched it. I did see it after the Oscars. And I don't think this is an earlier poster. Discomfort and joy. Yeah, that's quite the vibe. But yeah, really good. So if you're a fan of dramas, if you really enjoy films with great acting, I thought this was good. And it's, I can't remember who directed it. Directed by Alexander Payne, who also did Sideways, which was also with Paul Giamatti. So for me, one of the things that I really loved about it was the tone, the sense of atmosphere, the opening credits. Like, it just felt very, I don't know, there was something, I don't know, like the feeling it gave with the pacing it had on those parts of it were one of the things that I thought was really, really special. So yeah, so that is the Holdovers. Holdovers, is it plural? Yeah, Holdovers. The other thing that I have been doing, these pictures they're not really very big. I don't know. The other thing that I've been doing in terms of playing World of Warcraft is that they've had a seasonal or limited time event called Plunderstorm, and this has been really fun. It is a pirate-themed battle royale. So 60 players enter, one person leaves, and it's complete chaos, and it goes really, really quickly. It's running, this version, this sort of limited time event is running until the end of the month, and they're doing an uptick on how fast that you gain the ranks, and a lot of people are just playing it to gain through it's 40 ranks, or renown is what it's called, and you can get cosmetic rewards in game, so appearances, there are several mounts and at least 2 pets, and then you can get the title of Plunder Lord if you get to the final renown. So it's one of those things, like with they keep on adding new things to the game and trying new things, which is really quite interesting, but it's also kind of like there's so much to do, like there's so much like FOMO, and I think a lot of people have been a little stressed about the FOMO of this, especially because they only announced this week when the end date was. So you just knew it was a limited time event. If you wanted to get all of the things, you had to play to the end of the renown track, and and there was no knowing how long it would be. But I tried to take it not too seriously. It went really quickly. Like, it was less than a minute to queue up. It was less than a minute, or it was about a minute to wait to get into the game, and they put you in the lobby where you get to, which is sort of like a testing ground, and you can try things out. I mean, the thing that I loved about it, like, one, it's set in the Arathi Basin, which is one of the no, Arathi Basin, that's not it, it's Arathi Highlands, which is one of the zones that you used to level from like 25 to 30. And I remember, like, when the game first came out, leveling through there and really enjoying it. But it's also just, and like, you fly in on this parrot that you can somewhat guide, but not really. I mean, it's just chaos. And I just found it a lot of fun. But one of the things that I really liked about it was that everyone starts on the same footing. Everyone starts at level 1, everyone starts with 100 hit points, everyone starts with 1 basic attack, 1 health potion. Those are both renewable, like you get them throughout the entire game. And everyone starts with a one-time use barrel roll that rolls you away. Everything else you find in game, you find from slaying mobs or opening chests or fighting and defeating other players, and you get like spells and abilities and other mobility things, like you can get the barrel again, or there's one that's like a little like motorcycle, and there's one that makes you stealth, and there's and the one that puts you like as like you appear like a bush, but you move, and so it's like this green triangle blob, like pyramid. It's like so not stealthy, but it's fun, and the games don't last that long. And I think a lot of people have had a hard time with it because people get frustrated if another player takes them down. But the thing is, it's 60 players enter, 1 player leaves, so 59 people are not going to make it to the end. And there is a way you can run into the storm if like you've done enough as you want to do in that particular session. You can, and you've gotten enough plunder that you feel okay with just getting back to it, getting out of there and getting back to it. You can run into the storm and and then the storm will kill you. And you can just start it all again. But I just find it a lot of fun. And I really for one of the challenges I have with PvP is that I feel like there's such at high level, people have such good gear that if you're just someone who's playing casually, or someone like me who plays with like a million different characters, gearing them all is just like not fun. And so I just like that everyone starts at the same level, everyone has the same abilities, and sure, over time you understand how those abilities work and where to find them and where's the best place to land, and which you don't have that much control over, and all of those things. But it's like anything else, the more you do it, the better you get. And and if you don't enjoy it, you don't have to do it. I have really enjoyed it. This is the character I was playing. You can choose any character and you can change them throughout, so you can be any race. I love the Vulpera. They're small. It's PvP. Pick a small character. And I always wore this green outfit, so you kind of look like the background. And after you gain up enough ranks, you can have the good captain stay with you, which is Pepe Pepe in the pirate suit, or pirate thing. I don't know. Anyway, I found it a lot of fun, and I did eventually get to Renown 40 and max out the track. So I was very happy about that. I did that like right before they announced, or right around I think it was the day they announced the end date. I was working on maxing things out. So I didn't make it all the way. Or I did make it all the way, but I'm like, I could have waited because they had it that you could fast track basically. So now if you play, you go through the ranks faster basically. And this is the finery that you get if you cap things out. I happened to be playing a Volpera when I looked at it. So yeah, so it's pretty awesome. It's a huge pirate themed, and I love the hat. I think it's a bit weird. It's a little hard to tell, but you get a hat and an eye patch, and I feel like you should have 2 separate transmogs for that. But yeah, so I was very happy to get that, and you do get the title of Plunderlord, which is the one that I really liked. And there's my little Plunderstorm character with Pepe in the finery, so that was a lot of fun. And I was okay. Like, I like PvPing. I don't take it too seriously, but the best I ever placed was number 2. So 2 out of 60. So didn't make it all the way, and I will 100% admit I made it to number 2 mostly by avoiding other players as opposed to fighting them. I would just gather a whole bunch of plunder, get upgrades for the spells. I was a Volpera. I hid behind rocks. I hid in bushes, and I would just watch people because I just wanted to see how far can I get, because you can just like go into the storm, start it all again. But I'm like, well, how far can I actually get? Like, I'm really curious. And I would just watch other players fight each other. And then, because when you do spells, they can have very big effects, and you can see them from very far away. So I often would just use the very basic attack, like this, just like, it doesn't have any big animations. And I'm like, I go over here and I'd be in the corner of here and just, and never run an open field, always run on a ridge and stuff like that. And then I went to the very, very center, and then I hid until it was down to just 2 other players. And I did try. I'm like, there's no way. This person who was the last person standing, when it was down to 2, I'm like, there's no way I was going to win. But I was like, okay, at this point, it's just the 2 of us. Let's just hit all the buttons, see what happens. And it was a lot of fun. So anyway, so that was fun. As I said, it's only running till the end of the month. And then they always have new things coming on. There's big news about the new expansion, which is coming out later this year. And then there's the big news about the Mists of Pandaria remix, which is like a fast track separate sort of, it's going to like using this sort of idea of making things very simplistic. That's the thing with this too. It's like you have a toolbar of like 7 abilities, like up to 7 abilities is all that you can have. Whereas in the game, your actual character, if you're a max level character, you could have like, I don't know, 40 abilities, 50 abilities. I don't know. Like, there's so many things. So having only 7, it was nice. It was nice. It was just fun. It was just fun. You just have to, like PvP, like player versus player, which I don't think I ever said in the unacronym form. When you're playing against other players, there's no guarantee you're going to win. And I feel like, especially if you're just doing it for the first time, I don't feel like you should have the expectation that you're going to win, or even place well, right? You're learning the game mechanics, you're learning the environment. I just tried to learn something new about every time I went. Where's a new chest? Where are the elite mobs? Where's a good place to land? Where's not a good place to land? Those are both very, very good to know. And just, and just dust yourself off and just jump in again. There's no risk other than time and, frustration if you feel the frustration. Anyway, so that is a little bit about what I have been playing. It was, that has been a lot of fun. Oh, and I did the big thing now. I'm down to the last 10 fishing achievements in the game. I have 10 more fishing and 10 more cooking achievements. I would like to finish those off as best as I can by the time the new expansion comes out. And the most recent one I got was Dragon Isles Fisherman, which they should just have be fisher person or fisher, or I don't know, fishing. Anyway, so that's my undead rogue that, I got that. That one was super easy. I just put on a movie or a show and just went to the Dragon Isles and fished up. I haven't done, that's the previous expansion, the most recent expansion, I've done almost no content out there. So I'm like, that one I can just do. So yeah, so now that puts me at 10 more fishing achievements and 10 more cooking achievements before I max those out. So fishing, I might not get all of them because there's one that's only one person wins, a weekly competition. And that's less fun. I've only done it a few times and I'm like, oh wow, that's stressful. I find that stressful. But there is, as opposed to Plunderstorm, where, you know, even if you place, I don't know, I feel differently about the two things. I feel differently about the two things. So Plunderstorm was a lot of fun. So there you go. I guess I had a lot to say about some of the gaming stuff. Let me know. Was that interesting? I don't know how many people also play World of Warcraft, and if you don't, you might not be watching to this point, but maybe it is still interesting to hear about. I don't know. So anyway, but I thought I would tack some of that on, see if it is of interest. I really enjoy playing, so it's something that is on my mind, and I love working towards the achievements. I am definitely someone who likes achievements. I'm sure that comes as no surprise as a goal-oriented person. So I will be having a new film-related video out. My plan is for the next one to be the last set of monster movies that I watched for my Q1 film challenge, and hopefully that will be out in the next couple days. So thank you so much for watching. It's really great to be back to doing videos, and I will be back with another one soon. Let me know what you are doing, and feel free to share what you've been reading or watching or playing recently. I would love to know. Thank you so much for watching.